Hey guys, what's up? This is Steve. Today, let's go through another LeetCode problem, 781, rabbits in forest. It has a lot of dislikes. Actually, it has more dislikes than likes. I guess the reason for that is because it's kind of confusing, or the lack of description or more details about this problem. But I thought this is a very cool and interesting question as long as you look closely enough about the description. It's pretty straightforward and easy to tell, and I thought it's quite interesting to some extent. So let's take a look at this problem. It's a good way to explore how a hash map could be used to solve all different kinds of problems. Let's take a look. In the forest, each rabbit has some color. Some subset of rabbits, possibly all of them, tell you how many other rabbits have the same color as them. All right, this is one interesting statement. Some subset of rabbits, possibly all of them, tell you how many other rabbits have the same color as them. One key word to note is how many other rabbits have the same color as them. All right, just bear that in mind. Those answers are placed in an array. The question is asking us to return the minimum number of rabbits that could be in the forest. Let's walk through one example. The given answers is 1, 1, and 2. What does these three numbers mean, right? So these three numbers mean the first one, it represents one rabbit. Say the color is red. And also, this one also means that there's one more rabbit of the same color in the forest. That's what it means. All right, so let's just walk through the explanation. It says the rabbit, then answer 2 can be red. All the answers would be inconsistent. That just means suppose the rabbit with the type 1 is of color red, then the rabbit of type 2 cannot be of color red. It can be yellow, blue, green, whatever, right? Although I know those types of rabbits might not make sense, but let's just assume all of them exist, because say the answer will have a length at most 1000, so it cannot be all rabbits common colors, right? So let's just assume this is a hypothetical question. But back to the question, back to this example one, what this means is that if there's a third rabbit of color type 2, and this also means that there are 2 more other rabbits of the same color type 2. All right, it's kind of confusing. Let's just go back to the definition of this. It says some subsets of the rabbits tell you how many other, the keyword here again is other, rabbits have the same color as them. And the question is asking us to return the minimum number of rabbits that could be in the forest. So back to this example again, let's see. So first number is 1. That means this rabbit has type 1. And it also means the second type of the meaning. It means it has, in the forest, there is one more type of the rabbit of the same type 1 that exists in the forest. All right, let's move on to the second one. The second one is also of type 1. That means this is the same type as the previous one. It also means this one has another type of the same type, another rabbit of the same type in the forest. So this one is referring to this one, and this one is referring to this one. All right, so there are at least 2 rabbits already in the forest. Both of them are of the type 1 color. All right, let's move on to the third rabbit. The third rabbit is of color 2. And also it means that there are 2 more rabbits of the color 2 in the forest. They're just not answering the question, so they are not seen in this given array, but they do exist in the forest. So that is 1, 1, 1. This is one rabbit, but it's of color 2. And also in the forest, there are 2 more rabbits of this color type 2. So that is 1, 1, 1, 1, 1. So total of 5 rabbits in the forest. That's why the answer is 5. I hope it makes sense. It's kind of confusing or very confusing, but as long as you understand 2 meanings, 2 layers of the meaning of the number in this given answers array, then you'll get it. Number 1, the first layer is that this number means one type of the rabbit. It could indicate the color. The number 2 is that this one that you see, you are currently iterating on, it means that there's another number, this number of rabbit of the same type, of the same color in the forest. And it can be balanced off, right? Say, this one means there's another one of the same color one, and the second one is of this same type, of the same color, so it balances off of this one's other, and this one's other is balanced off by this one. All right, let's take a look at the second example. Everything will be making a lot more sense. All right, the second answer is 10, 10, 10. There are three types, or there are three rabbits that answered to the question, and all three of them are of the color of the same type, which is 10. Let's just say 10 is a color. It could be blue or red or yellow or whatever, right? So this one, two layers of meaning. Number one, it means that I'm a rabbit. My color is of color type 10. And number two, second layer of the meaning there are 10 more rabbits, my peers, they are of the same color of color 10 in the forest. I don't know if they answered or not, but I know who I am. I am of the color type 10. That's the first rabbit. All right, but we know at the same time there are at least 10 more rabbits. That means 11 rabbits total, right? And then here, this is the second rabbit. The second rabbit say, okay, here, I'm the second rabbit, and I know my color, I'm color type 10. All right, this one balances off one of this first rabbits, the other 10 rabbits. All right, so this one we don't even need to count, right? Because this one has 10 quota. The quota of this one's other peer is 10. This one just balances off one of those 10. So that gives us 9. We still have a quota of 9 rabbits of this color type. And then we encounter the third rabbit. The third rabbit saying, okay, I'm the third rabbit, and I know my color is of type 10. All right, it's the third one. So this one balances off. It uses a second quota of this one types of rabbits extra other peers, right? So that's why the total number, the minimum number of rabbits we can guarantee in the forest is 11. So you can add, like, say, a few more 10 here. 10. Okay, let's see. All right, let's put it this way. Suppose let's just return 11 here. I just want to show you guys what this actually means. This is not going to work, but that's fine. Let's put 10, 10, 10. So this one, as I just explained, we know there's a minimum of 11. So 11 is the correct answer. So 10, 10, 10 is correct answer, right? So we run code, it should be correct. I'm just walking through the example. Also, if you understand the problem, you know that if we add one more 10, it's still going to be 11, right? So this one is just the fourth 10 is just going to balance off, use one more quota of the first rabbit's 10 peers, right? So it's still going to be 11. So it's still going to be correct. Let's see. Still correct. We can add up all of these. 10, 10, 10, 10, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. This one is still going to give us 11, right? Because all of these, these rabbits, they are all of the same color of color type 10. So they will use all of the quota of this rabbits, the 10 peers. This is going to give us 11. Let's see. Accepted. So we can remove any one of these. It's still going to be 11. I hope this makes sense to you guys, right? So this is still correct. But if we add at this point, so right now here we have 10 rabbits here. We have 10 rabbits of the same color of type 10. So this one balances off all of the first rabbit's 10 peers. At this point, if we add one more 10 here, what the result is going to be? Let's think about this. That means the first one, it has the minimum of rabbits is going to be 11. And we add one more 10 here. What does this number mean? Again, let's revisit what we talked about. this 10, the number has two layers of meaning. Number one, it means that, oh, I am of this color. I am of this type of color, type 10. That's the first layer of the meaning. Second layer of the meaning is that it means there are 10 more rabbits of the same color. They are my peers. They're in the forest. I'm not sure if they answered the question or not. That means it's going to be another 10 rabbits in the forest. So this means another 11 rabbits, right? So the correct answer to this one should be 22. Let's see. Let me change it to 22 and should still be accepted. Accepted, right? I hope this makes sense. This just the whole point of this problem is basically to ask you to understand this problem, what the problem is asking you to do. If you understand that, the idea is pretty straightforward. The idea that came to me is we can use a hash map. How do we use the hash map? The key of the hash map is going to be the rabbit type or the color of the rabbit. And the value of the hash map is going to be the quota. As long as we encounter a rabbit of the same color that we have encountered before, we'll just use one number of that quota. When the quota drops to 0, then we will just remove that entry in our hash map. And whenever we encounter a new type of the rabbit, we just increment the minimum number of rabbits, that variable, by the number of the type. By the type, we'll increment that result by the type of the rabbit plus 1. Why plus 1? Because that means itself needs to be incremented by 1, right? So it's just like 10 needs to be 11. We'll increment it by itself because it has 10 other peers in the forest. And the only corner case that we need to consider is that when the rabbit type is 0, that means, okay, I'm the color type of 0. That means I have 0 peers of the same color of type 0 in the forest. That means there are no peers in the forest. I'm a special type 0. There are no peers. There are 0 peers in the forest, meaning there are no peers. So in this case, we don't need to add it into the hash map. All right, I hope that makes sense. If that is clear, let's put the idea into the actual code. Let's see. So first, what I want is a hash map. It's going to be integer and integer. Hash map. And then we'll have a total variable called rabbits. That's the minimum number of rabbits that we're going to find, that we're going to return. In the end, we'll just return rabbits. And now we'll just go through this answers. I'll call it rabbit. Yeah, rabbit is fine. Answers. So first, we want to make sure that whether this is a new type of rabbit or this is the type of rabbit that we have encountered before. So we want to check if map contains key rabbit, else. If this is the case, that means we have encountered this type of the rabbit before. It's like this is the second 10, the third 10, right? So we want to get the quota map get rabbit. So that means we're just going to use the second one to balance off one number of the quota, in this first, the same type of the rabbit that we have encountered in the first place, use its peers quota, right? So quota minus. And then we want to check if quota becomes 0. That means this entire type of the rabbit have all answered to the questions. They all have a place in the answers. Right, so then we'll just remove rabbit. Otherwise we'll just update the quota, right, with the latest quota. Put rabbit quota. So it's like this 10 at first, this map becomes 10 and 10. And in the second run, the map should become 10 and 9. Third run, the map become 10 and 8, right? So this 10, the rabbit of type 10, it has 10 other peers in the forest. We discovered that its first pair, the second pair, the third and 10th pair, they don't answer. That's fine. I'll just keep them there. So, and then if the map does contain the rabbit, that means it's not the first time. So if it is the first time that we have encountered this rabbit, what do? Well, rabbits plus this rabbit, right? For example, this is the first time that we encountered this rabbit of type 10. So we'll make sure that we include all of the 10 pairs of this rabbit. So we'll plus rabbit. That means 0 plus 10 is going to be 10. And then we'll have rabbits plus plus. This is going to increment to add to include itself, right? So this 10 becomes 11. And then here also we want to add this into the map. But there's one more corner case, which is something that I just described in the beginning, which is what if the type of the rabbit is 0? That means I'm a rabbit, my type or my color is of type 0. That means I have 0 pairs in the forest, which means there are no pairs. I don't have pairs in the forest. So that's the only case that we need to check if. That means we don't need to add this type of the rabbit into the hash map, right? Because the quota is already 0. You see here, if quota is 0, we're just going to remove this entry from the map. So if rabbit doesn't equal to type 0, then we'll just put rabbit and rabbit into this map. So the key of the map is the rabbit, which indicates the type or the color of the rabbit. And the value of this hash map is the quota, which means, say, if I'm the rabbit of color type 10, that means I have 10 pairs of the same type of type 10 in the forest. That's the quota. That's what it means for value of the hash map. All right, now let me just hit run code and see. All right, it's accepted. Now let me hit submit. All right, accepted. And 83%, 60%. Let me hit submit it one more time and see if there's 80%, 11%. Wow, it's getting a lot worse. That's not good. One more time. All right, it's 80%, 70%. I'm happy with that. All right, that's the idea. I hope it does make sense and help people understand this kind of very confusing problem. It's not super tricky or nothing too fancy, not too much advanced data structure involved. It's just that you need to completely understand the problem. Once you do, this problem is pretty easy to get it. I hope this video helps people understand it. If that's the case, please do me a favor and hit the like button. That's going to help a lot with the YouTube algorithm. I really appreciate it. And don't forget to subscribe to my channel, as I have accumulated quite a lot of different videos about data structures, LeetCode, algorithms, and Amazon Web Services, how you can prepare and pass an Amazon Web Services certification exams. I really appreciate that. So hopefully I'll just see you guys in just a few short seconds in my other videos. Thank you very much for watching.